We are glad to invite architect N.S. Aishwarya, principal designer in Ved Architects, Hyderabad, whose focus is in green and sustainable building practices.
Greetings to one and all. This is architect Aishwarya, Alumni of SRMIST 2014 to 19 batch. It gives a great pleasure to be a part of Icon West 2021, and I thank everybody in the management and the team Icon West 2021 for inviting me over. In the ever-evolving construction field and in the race to attain name and fame in the practice, one should not forget their commitments towards nature and the ecology. Sustainability, a big term. It can be achieved with two simple steps. First, by reducing our footprints in the nature, and the rest by adopting efficient technologies that saves up all the time, money and manpower. Icon West 2021 focusing on bringing together all the researchers and the scholars on the same field is an amazing effort by the management and the team SAVE. Thank you so much for doing this and educating us as you always do. To tell about myself, I did my architecture at SRM Universities and graduated in 2019. Did my internship with Alturat Engineering and Consultants at Dubai, UAE. During my internship, I had the privilege and opportunity to work on various projects such as Zayed Institute of Abu Dhabi, Dubai Safari Park, which is a zoological park where it's a theme based, where all the animals will be left free and the humans will be put inside a cage and took around. And on Sharjah housing units, which is a house unit for the underprivileged. After my graduation, I started working with Ved Architects Hyderabad as a junior architect under a principal architect, Mr. Suresh Kumar. His specialization in green buildings and environmental design is a core value in our office as well. After getting trained under him for a year, I became one of our principal designers by October 2020, and from then onwards we have been working on so many interesting projects. Our verticals includes architecture, interior, landscape and project management. Today, I would like to explain few of our ongoing projects under each verticals. To start with, our first architectural project, the Mandava House. The brief from the client is to build a weekend getaway that is close to nature. The site is almost 4 acres, within which we are expected to tuck in a Mandava house to house for their parents and their in-laws, an office space with all other supporting structures and services. The client had a dream to build a testimonial where he should not feel the urbanness of the city. In order to bring the earthy tones and the native vibes to the house, we decided to make a structure that is interwoven with the site rather than dominating it. With tall trees all around the site, we decided to propose a dwarf structure that sits humbly under the trees, an amalgamation of Chettinad House and the Mandava House of Andhra Pradesh. This stands as an epitome of sustainable houses of the past. So the entire site is about 4 acres and the north is to the top. The entry happens from the northeast, and following that we have the office spaces along the road. The residential quarters comprises of all the houses with a swimming pool and the changing rooms along with that. There comes the servant quarters and the cow shed and all other services together. All the trees over the site have been marked clearly before starting the master plan so that we don't disturb any of them while placing the structures in and out. These are the trees that are being preserved as of now at the site level. When we zoom on to the main residential unit, we have three units such as the main house, that is the Mandava house with a central cutout. The second one is being for the parents, that is the small Mandava house wherein we don't have a cutout but we have a veranda all around. And the third one is for the in-laws. The swimming pool is supported with changing rooms next to it, and the washrooms are being given to the other side of the residential unit. The plan of the main house revolves around the 20 feet by 20 feet central courtyard. The 10 feet wide corridor around the courtyard acts as the circulation space to all the spaces. The planning is so simple with a 3 by 3 grid wherein all the rooms are kept according to the vastu that goes behind the belief of the client. The flooring and the textures are being selected from various inputs such as Sechinada House of Tamil Nadu and Mandava House of Andhra Pradesh. When it comes to interiors, the articulated columns, beams, the wooden rafters, and the traditional terracotta tiles on top are the key elements of the project. All these elements have been highlighted in the courtyard, with the walls being painted with pitchwai painting and the floors being adorned with the traditional Athangudi tiles from the Chettinad. All the furnitures are being designed carefully with tile inlays, and the lighting elements have been imported from Belgium. After the colorful courtyard, the living room is designed in mild hues with cane furnitures and bamboo louvers. The bedroom is expected to be more dark and meditative, with tandoor stone in the flooring, a a monochromatic theme with pillared cot and hand painted walls. So, our next project is Project Pranavam. This was the state of the project when we received it. Looks pretty good from the exterior, right? Let me take you on a tour inside the house. This is the plan of the ground floor. Notice the length and the width of the central living space. We had two big challenges in this house. First, there was zero natural lighting inside the living space, and the second, the slab started sinking without adequate supports from the beams and the columns. I mean, the first floor slab. Notice it's a fully finished site wherein the tiles are already laid and we cannot do normal slabs with jackworks and shuttering. To save the finished materials and time, with the support of our structural engineer Mr. Sridhar Reddy from SHPL, we proposed and executed steel deck slabs here, where steel plates are casted on top of the iron beams, reinforcement is done on top of the steel plates, and concreting is laid. In this method, we avoided the jack centering and shuttering processes, and the entire slab gets completed within 5 days. A central cutout proposed with skylights on top invites natural lighting to the living space as well. We are currently changing this 12,000 SFT house to a splendid 20,000 SFT bungalow with 3 floors, 3 living rooms, 10 bedrooms, a home theater, 2 terrace gardens, and a gym. I would love to show you the site progresses along with how it's going to look in the future as well. So, this is how the central cutout space looks now, and this is how it's going to look finally. There's the drawing room, the puja, the kitchen, the dining space, the master bedroom, son's bedroom, daughter's bedroom, the guest bed 1, and the guest bed 2. The home theater is huge and lavish, wherein the terrace garden is calm and rejuvenating. Our next project in the vertical landscape. It's a 100-acre industrial site that belongs to Continental Coffee Limited. The site is located at a low-lying area where they have a lake very next to the site. The level of the lake is higher than the level of the site itself. First and foremost, we had to sort out the water drains and channels to avoid the flooding during monsoons. We adopted really simple principles to bring the best out of the site. We prioritized what's important and what's not, in order to keep the design clean, neat, and uncluttered. Visual interest has been created by showing diversity in shape, size, and form selections of the vegetations. By mirroring the elements on both sides, a formal balance has been achieved in the view. Remember the properties of architecture wherein it applies to landscape as well, such as emphasis, sequence, scale, unity, harmony, and proportions. So now we have come to the end of the presentation. I once again thank the management and the team IconBest 2021 for giving me this opportunity to present my projects over here. Looking forward for future opportunities to give our contribution towards the environment and the society. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Architect Aishwarya, for sharing your knowledge on sustainable building practices. We will now move on to a short sponsor break.
Regular cement takes 28 days to make an airstrip. This one just took 4. Yes, it is the technology of the future, brought to us today by Dalmia Cement. And I'm building my house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.
I'm a forest ranger and I don't allow any interference in the jungles. But this wildlife corridor was needed, so we built it with the world's greenest cement, Dalmia. And now I'm building my own house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.
An 8-foot slab of concrete that can take a load of 500 tons, moving at such speed. Yes, it's the technology of the future. Brought to us today by the pioneers of sleeper cement, Dalmia. And I'm building my house with the same.
Dalmia Cement, future today.